Hi,
Welcome back to... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to do?
Instinct. You.
That's so funny. Do you do that on every podcast you go to?
No. There was a countdown, and I never heard a countdown before, so I thought I would.
And what were you going to go for?
I was going to welcome us to the podcast. And
Please. Mike, can you count us in again?
tell me the name of this podcast.
The Chelsea Skidmore Show.
Okay, easy to remember.
In 3, 2.
And welcome back to the Chelsea Skidmore Show. My name is Rick Glassman with our host, Chelsea Skidmore. We are excited to have special guests from Take Your Shoes Off podcast, Take Your Shoes Off podcast's own, Rick Glassman. Rick Glassman, how you doing today? I'm good, thanks. I did an introduction. It was fun. And I kind of don't want to do more than like 20 seconds up top because it could be a bit much. So how are you?
I'm good, Rick. I woke up this morning feeling a little under the weather, but I'm starting to feel better as I wake up more. When you texted me saying that you too were getting over feeling a little sick, I almost had the urge to be like, well, we could do another day. But then I was like, no. If I'm awake for a little bit longer, it will probably disappear a little. You know how like it's extra bad when you wake up and then it kind of goes away?
My girlfriend, who's real, she lives in London, you've never met her, has a theory on this that is the melatonin. Because when my throat hurts, it is usually in the morning. At the night, it's the worst. So she feels there's something to the melatonin, perhaps bringing out the symptoms a little bit more.
Really? Do you take melatonin every night?
No, the melatonin naturally comes into the body as the sun sets. We'll get more into that after a word from our sponsor, from Marshall Rug Gallery. That is Marshall Rug Gallery from Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be right back.
And we're back. And wait, can you do the sriracha commercial? Rick was just saying he did a voiceover for what would be a sriracha product at McDonald's?
There was the sriracha chicken sandwich is a special sandwich, very special, that McDonald's has every now and then, and I did a commercial for it. And then after the commercial, they asked me to do voiceover for a few, and ended up being 5 of them, and it was just like, I don't remember what they were. I would love to if I had them locked up. They were so funny. It's just, dipping your chicken nuggets in a, whatever the fuck it was. I don't really remember. So.
Yeah. Do you eat fast food?
No.
You're an athlete.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Yes.
You're a b-ball player.
Yeah. I eat In-N-Out sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Have you had Bel Campo or Hi-Ho cheeseburger or?
Bel Campo sounds like a disease when your face gets paralyzed.
No, that's
Bell palsy. Yeah.
No, Bel Campo is Mario Batali's like fast food gourmet place. It's really, really good on mustard. I like burgers.
The majority of your audience listening or watching?
A little of both. It depends on the guest if they will be watching, but mostly listening.
Okay. So for the people that aren't watching, that they don't know that you quoted fast food, is there like some type of subtext? Because you said fast food with air quotes.
Oh.
And
Mario Batali is quote unquote fast food gourmet burger.
But why?
Why did I put it in quotes?
Yeah. Like, is it not that?
Because it's like a fast food style, which is like a thin burger. Like fast food style burgers to me are like thin, like smashed patties, and it has like all the elements of like a fast food restaurant burger, like in terms of like the top. It's like that style, but a gourmet version of that.
So is it
you
not
heard
fast food?
They're quickly made, more of a high end style burger.
All right, so this is a real conversation, and I apologize if I'm getting too far into something that doesn't matter. But so you don't have to air quote, because again.
No, I do.
All right, never mind.
No, okay, if you will.
I was.
And I'll, please.
Should I continue? I was going to suggest maybe referring to it what it is, which is like a high-end fast food, because it gets confusing. I get confused with air quotes.
I throw them around.
Yeah, I also get confused when people say quote unquote, and then they say what the thing is, and there's nothing between the quote. I would think it's quote fast food end quote, but if you do quote end quote, there's nothing there. It just looks like 4 little lines.
Yeah, I'm with you on the quote unquote thing, but this thing, I do this sometimes with some of my jokes. So you just don't.
Some
do
of
this
your
at all.
jokes.
Yeah. Stop. How do you stay straight when you're? I can't tell. You're a very interesting person because you say a lot of.
Thank you.
You say a lot of funny things, but I can't tell if you're you know what you're doing, but like you sell it in a way. Like I can't tell if some of the stuff you say and do are accidental and intentional, or
You
like
mean or accidental and intentional?
yeah. Or if you're like, because it's like there's no like hint of a smile with some of this stuff.
There's a hint of a smile. In it.
Okay,
There's
so
a hint
it's
of a
all
smile.
okay. It's just in the eyes, and I'm not.
You're not what?
And I'm just not picking up on it.
I don't know.
I can't tell if some of the stuff
You're
say.
yelling at me right now. Let's take a second. We'll be right back with a word from our sponsors. That's Marshall Rug Gallery in Cleveland, Ohio. And we're back.
Who are you? Who are you? Where did this all start? Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland.
Is that where the Drew Carey show took place?
I'm glad you
Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say at the end of
They
the
just
scene?
say Ohio, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I think. Can
Mike?
we pull it up?
No. Mike? He's not in the room. He's smoking. I thought it's Cleveland, Ohio, because I didn't watch the show, but...
I want to tell you something. I don't know if I'm in frame because Mike's taking a smoke break. Sometimes,
You're the third person who's ever picked that up and held it. Some people don't do it.
yeah.
I'm starting to notice the type of person who does it.
What are the other two? What type of person is it?
Jamie Kennedy and Tom Green were the other people.
Oh, so
It's an interesting, funny...
were you
kinda-
about to say the N-word or something? Why'd you
What?
stop? Why'd you
I
stop
was
yourself?
finding the words. Maybe just like a little quirky person.
An LQP. Yeah, I am quirky.
So you're from Ohio.
Yeah, I want to tell you what I was going to tell you though. Sometimes I'm asked questions. I don't just mean in a podcast. Just in an interview setting type of thing, where I'm not sure. And this is nothing on you. I'm not doing a joke. I know that you said you're not sure, so I want to like come out from behind the curtain or bring you back there with me.
Thank you.
This is serious. I sometimes have a hard time of knowing when a question is real. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I only know this might be disrespectful because I was at a girl's house once late at night, if you know what I mean. And we were getting to know each other, and she's asking me, like, so where are you from? And I was thinking, like, and I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm from.
Really?
It doesn't. I don't think. I don't. So when you ask
Well,
me,
when you're from Ohio, it's easy to not matter. Because I'm
is,
from New York, and I'll let you know that.
is this called the Chelsea Skidmore show or the Burn the Guest show? All right, New York's the best. I get it. I feel I get a little insecure when it's like questions like that where it's like, I get it. We're looking for a little momentum. We're looking to find something interesting. But where am I? Doesn't matter where you're from. But I don't know. Like when people ask you, what your favorite food is.
Pasta. What's yours?
Pasta.
Really?
I don't know. Chinese food.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Where do you think is the best Chinese in LA?
New Moon. It's in La Cañada near Glendale.
That's where all the best is up there. San Gabriel, La Cañada.
You know the area.
All up there. Yeah, that's where all the...
Man, that
Oh
place
my
is
God.
good. Oh, is there a spider?
Have you seen the documentary Sour Grapes? It's
No.
incredible. It's about this guy who was living up in that area, and he was a con artist in the wine industry. It's so fucking good. But
Do we have a clip?
No. Do you have clips on your podcast?
I don't cut to clips, but because they're other people's IP. But usually what I'll do is, if we were talking about this, I would then film a scene from the documentary with the two of us, and then I would put it in.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Like insert... No, you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Sometimes. Yeah. I on my podcast, I do a lot of, like, I started off as a joke because it was just easy, like, to edit out of stuff, and I would, like, snap to stuff. And then, like, I have ideas of, like, oh, let's actually do that. Like, we set something up and film it. It takes me so long to edit them all. So I'm, like, trying to find an equilibrium of how much and often to do stuff. But
That's so funny. Well, you should at least just post those scenes and just say a scene from my podcast about a scene from...
I've been meaning to like take the clips and post those. I just started doing those on my Instagram. But like some of these episodes take me over 40 hours to edit because I'm doing these these mini projects that I think are funny. They are funny ideas. And in the moment, it's like, yeah, we'll just do that. And then I'm sitting. Also, I'm just cut to little bits every now, like 5-second bits that take an hour to, and it gets exhausting.
That's a long time. So you're doing all the editing yourself.
I've recently started getting some help. shout out to Perry Grown, who I talked to you earlier about. He was going to meet me after if we could park here, but I was going to meet him somewhere else. I've been getting some help, but it's tough because, like, I have this I don't know how to. I'm not right, but there's a certain way I want it that feels instinctual that I don't know how to kind of communicate to somebody else, and I'm trying to find that balance of working with somebody else on these ideas that are so ridiculous. And it feels like that my podcast has become like a show, not in like a.
But that's great.
There's a lot of. I'm really proud of it, and it's very cool. But I don't know how sustainable it is at the moment. I mean, I'm working 40-hour weeks on this thing, and it's not. I've worked on projects, and when it's done, cool. But I finish Sunday night or Monday morning. I upload Monday, and then I have to. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And it's not like I have this podcast that's making tons of money to where it's worth it for the job. So I'm trying to figure it out, but. The instincts, even now when I played around with it, but like I want to cut to like I want to film a fucking wine thing with you, and we'll put it in for 15. You know what I mean? That's fun. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I haven't listened to it, but I'll just like catch it on social media. And what really caught my eye was, Aisling B. Is that how I pronounce it?
Ashling.
Oh, it's Ashling.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just never said it out loud to anyone.
It's a weird. It's spelt and it's an unusual name, but it's Ashling.
Oh.
Who's a comedian? She's Do you know her? Do you know her stand up?
I don't. I just had seen her I had seen like her name buzzing around, and then I checked out her pilot. The pilot episode of her show.
Do you think it's a coincidence that her last name is B and you used the term buzzing around?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Huh.
But
why don't you leave some comments? Let us know if you think that was a coincidence or not, and we'll check in on those next time I come back in what is it, May? End of May?
In May. And then I checked, and then so I saw the clip that you made, and I was like, wow, this is like a really good clip. The clip of her doing all the Disney stuff, and it had, a lot of, cutting around, a lot of work had been clearly put into it, and I was like, oh wow, he must have like a good team, like working on all that stuff. So I'm very impressed that you were the one who did that. Thank
you. Yeah, that was I have 3 cameras, and one of the cameras shut off, so I was dumping. One of the cards and fixing it, and during that there was like 15 minutes of her just literally putzing around, and I can't post that 15 minutes of me setting stuff up, but within it she was doing a lot of funny stuff, so it just jump cut it.
Yeah, that's great.
And she's so funny too.
Mm-hmm. And I know where her dress was from. It's definitely by Reformation.
Is it?
Which is like, because it's a recognizable brand. It's so weird. Benji's sister started this brand, but it was like my favorite brand. It's great.
My girlfriend. So I was in. I met my girlfriend. This is a cool story. I don't want. It involves finding out about Benji's sister, but I kind of now want to like tell you about this.
Yeah.
I met my girlfriend online, where you meet everybody.
The London girl.
Yeah.
Do we want to say her Betty?
Betty. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
On Raya.
Instagram.
Oh.
And maybe Raya. I don't remember because I was on Raya, but I usually didn't use Raya. So if I would talk to somebody, maybe you bring it to Instagram where it feels like let's leave. Why don't we leave this club and go get a coffee over on Instagram? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then we were talking for a bit, and she lived in London, and I was going to go to London. I love London. Aisling was the reason I went there the first time. I always wanted to go, and she's a successful comedian, but in London she's huge.
Yeah, because she's Irish.
Yeah.
So it's just right there.
Yeah. And there's people in London that are like selling out theaters that are big time that you and I may not know that well. They haven't necessarily crossed over yet. Not that she hasn't, but over there she's very, very big. She let me stay at her place. She sent me I went there for 10 days. She got me at least one show every night. They were awesome shows. When I walked in, people were like, "Oh, you're Ashling's friend." It was like,
wow.
Oh, it was very cool.
Yeah.
So I love going there. I wanted to go there. Blah, 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 blah. Betty's there. I was going to go anyway. I went with her. I met with her. And then 3 days after, she had a friend's wedding in Spain. So we went to Spain together.
You went as the guest?
I didn't go to the wedding. I went to the hotel, and I was there for the hotel stuff. But I said to her, I'm interested. I'll go. I'm not going to bring a suit or anything. So if we could all manage this. So we're already in Spain. I've always wanted to go to Rome. I'd never gone to Rome. So I just met this girl. We went to Spain. We went to Rome. While in Rome, we ran into Benji. Benji did his 23andMe or whatever thing it was, and he found out he was Italian.
Really?
He had part Italian. He's like, I'm Italian. I've never been to Rome. So we went to Rome, and I ran into him there. And
That's so random.
I know. A lot of when in Rome jokes, like the proper kind, the good, like, they weren't corny.
When in Rome.
Yeah. Like when in Rome, we should maybe go get lunch.
Yeah.
You know, they were very literal. And so then we did, and we got to talking, and my girlfriend Betty works in product development and branding, and deals a lot with cosmetics and beauty products, and basically starting brands. She's a licensed nutritionist, and work. She basically when somebody
I
like
need to follow her.
yeah, I'll give you her info. When somebody wants to make a product, she's very familiar with a lot of the stuff that's going on, and also knows the chemistry behind it all. So she's the person that will be the middle person between the chemists and the brands, and help like
A creative consultant?
she creative director and consultant, and I guess that includes marketing, but works with that too.
That's really cool.
And she's starting her own brand now, but basically she loves the way that Benji's sister, whom of which I was not educated with, started, and like not just the brand itself, but the way she created this brand and did it. And when she found out that was Benji's sister, she was like, that's like a role model of hers. And I thought that was, I don't remember if I'm supposed to use Small World or Win in Rome, but you pick and choose which one. I just thought that was cool. Like, here's this random person I just met. We randomly went to Rome, ran into a friend. That's her role model. So, yeah, in May, we should get Benji's sister and my girlfriend on here.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, it was fun getting the discount for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah, there's a little backstory that I'm familiar with but don't know much of.
Just briefly dated, off and on for like a year and a half. Made sure.
Is that briefly then? A year and a half?
No.
Are we not allowed
I'm
to discuss?
minimizing it. No, we can, of course. Yeah.
Ooh, this feels like like.
It didn't end well.
No,
it did not.
I don't know
end
anything.
Well. It did not end well. It ended with
your fault.
His fault.
100%.
I mean, I'm not a fan
of him.
I'm not a fan.
Here's where I am right now. I am a fan, right?
No, I know that,
So
and I want to be respectful.
So I'm just in. I just want to like kind of get. I'm in a place now where I don't want to be. Not that you were. This is just my feelings.
No.
I don't want to be speaking negatively of anybody, especially if they're not here. And I don't want to feel like I'm in a defensive in a place.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested.
Yeah.
And it's odd because there's cameras and blah, 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 blah. Or one camera. There's 3 cameras. We use one?
We're using one.
What,
it's
too much editing?
It's, I'll explain it later.
Explain it now.
Technical thing.
Yeah? Problems?
Something like it looks better, the straight on happens to look better than the way that it's cut apart with the cameras that they have here at the Comedy Store.
Well, is it because...
They're updating their cameras, so it just doesn't
change the angles.
We'll talk about... Do you know how to do all that stuff? Maybe you can give me some
advice. Have you never
after.
seen The Sixth Lead, which you could see at rickglassman.com
so
or the6lead.com and see
let's
how
skip
me as a
ahead
director?
to a different subject. So you were working on Undateable.
Because the cameras, they're all the same angle. There's no...
We're only using this one.
Right. Also, now it's like, I don't know where to... If you have a you have one right there that's on me. You have one right here that's on you.
They're not, but you'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay.
You ever trust?
Do I ever trust?
Yeah.
Rarely.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No, I do trust, but I'm very skeptical.
Me too. I always feel like I'm being tricked. Do you have that?
No,
That's
I feel like people
different.
don't know. People think they know stuff that they don't know.
A lot. Yeah. I don't know. Someone put this into my head growing up. I don't know why, but I never trust anyone, and I always feel like I'm being, just like what I said. I always feel like I'm being tricked.
Do you think that and whatever happened with Benji maybe correlate? Why don't we speak on that? We'll be right back with a word from our sponsor, Marshall Rug Gallery. Okay, we're back.
What kind of coffee is that?
I have Blue Bottle cans I keep in the fridge with a little almond milk and some sativa. Sativa? What's it called?
Indica?
No, not weed at all. The
CBD drops?
No, the
sweet drops.
Yeah, what is it called? With an S.
Sweet vanilla? Stevia.
Yeah.
I just got a foamer for Christmas, and I have an espresso machine, so I've been making lattes at home, and it's incredible.
Do you like puns?
Yeah.
Do you like them a latte? We'll be right. No, we have fun. But
Steven's incredible at them. My husband.
At making lattes?
At puns. He's really good at them. They don't come to me easily.
Sure.
Do they come to you easily? Yeah, you're that
guy. They
guy.
come to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they come to me easily.
Uh-huh.
There are things that come to me easier. The piano, for example.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you well-rounded? Let's talk about some of your hobbies and talents.
I feel like we were
Basketball?
about to start talking about a few things. There's something.
I'm getting away from the Benji stuff. Can you not figure
Yeah.
that out?
Yeah, but after the bench, there was something else too. I don't remember what it was.
Coffee,
Whatever.
frother, Christmas gifts. The sixth lead, we'll get there.
It
That's
was
a big
after
one.
that. But anyway, what did you want to talk about? What did you just say? My hobbies. Yeah, sure. My hobbies include, but are not limited to. You know what? But are limited to. Piano, basketball, making my woman feel like a queen. In that order. Editing. Is this...
What are some of the things you do to make your woman feel like a queen?
Manipulator. Make her feel like she needs me by taking away stuff that she does need. No, I'm just kidding. What do I do to make her feel like a queen? I guess accept the love that she gives me, and then it's just everything else is just kind of instinctual, you know? I don't know if I really make her feel like a queen. I like to hope so. I would hope so. I don't know if I'd like to. I would rather not hope so things come easier, but unfortunately I do hope so. She was making, so I'm getting over sickness, as we discussed with melatonin up top. She's making me soup, a lot of veggies. She's taking the veggies. She was going to blend some of them. And I have a Vitamix, but it's a whole to-do. I also have the NutriBullet Easier. She put it in there while it was still hot, and it exploded and popped out, and all of this soup all over the kitchen, all over her, arms, everything. And there was a pop, and then she was laughing, and I didn't realize it when there's a little bit of fear for her. Her responses laughed. I didn't realize how much she was hurting, and I was a little confused, and she burnt herself all over the place. This was yesterday. Some of them are second degree. She's okay now, but like, she was making me soup, and then she burnt herself all over the place. And I don't remember the point of this. Why am I telling you this?
Because she's an absolute queen. Because she laughed. Because she's fun.
Yeah.
She makes you
Find
soup.
yourself a girl that makes you stuff, and
Yeah.
then when she hurts herself, she laughs and doesn't complain about it.
You-
No, I don't remember why I brought that up, but she's great, and she's feeling okay.
So are you guys long distance? But then she comes here sometimes and you go there?
Yeah, we started dating in September. She's been here a few times. She came to Cleveland for Thanksgiving, and
Wow.
I decided to meet her there. That's where my parents are. And then I'm going back to London with her when she leaves in January,
Aw.
and we're going to do that for a bit. It sucks. I love London so much.
Mhm.
I love doing stand-up there. They're nice to me in London.
I've done stand-up there.
What do you think?
So I felt like the laughs were short. Like, at the
Right.
shows that I did. It was okay.
Mm.
Yeah. I did like some weird kind of like bar shows.
Yeah.
Is that what were like the venues like that you did?
I did
I
a
did do a club.
I did clubs. I did on a boat. I did bars. I did a whole bunch of different shows.
Yeah.
I don't gauge. I'm not great at knowing how the audience receives me. So I don't mean this completely, but the way they laugh or how much or how long isn't the number one indicator for me of if I think I did well. It's based on if the way they talk to me after the show and the way the eye contact I have during the show matches up with how I feel I'm doing at that moment. So I will if I feel like I'm not being funny and they feel the same based on their face, like I like this crowd. The problem was my set. It isn't the disconnect in that moment. And there's something about people from the UK, and that's why I wanted to go there beforehand. I just feel like maybe I'm wrong. It's just a positive feeling I have that they understand my intention. So I went there and everyone's listening to me. I don't remember if the laughs were long or not. I just feel like they really liked me.
Mhm.
And it makes me want, like, if I weren't acting, I would want to move there for stand-up. I love it there.
Yeah. How would you describe your stand-up style?
I don't know. How would you describe it?
It's very interesting. It's a little. I guess it's like kind of alt. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's a mix of stuff. It's
I'm going to take these off.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. Something's going on.
Yeah, because you do a number of different things. Like you've started bringing props, doing stuff with
Mhm.
puppets, which is very fun. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but I like it.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it either.
Yeah.
But it definitely has to be unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, not for the audience as much as for me, because all comedians, I know this isn't a me thing. I know an obstacle for all comedians is repeating material. It's hard. I feel like it's harder for me than other people, probably because I'm not good at that.
You're not good at what?
I'm not good at lying. I feel very uncomfortable. I don't lie. I mean, it's not even a moral thing. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I know sometimes you do. Lying is uncomfortable because now I have to remember that. And also, if I'm lying, it's to make you feel a certain way. I know I can't control the way you feel about me. I want to have as much control as I possibly can. And by telling you my feelings, over communicating so much too, sometimes like I am now, it just makes it easier for me. There's something about repeating material that unfortunately feels like a lie. I know it's not. I know that's the craft. I watch other people do it. It makes me uncomfortable. So when I do that, I'm not present anymore because I'm just not present anymore. So I've been trying to find ways of repeating material while still being able to be present, and props have helped me do that because I'm not repeating material. I'm repeating a performance, and that's not lying to me. So if I could find performances that maybe the performance is the same, but I could change stuff within it. It's a cheat, and it's been very inefficient, and I think it's the reason why I've been doing this for 12 years almost, and I haven't even attempted to do a special. Yeah, so I don't know how to explain it, but I think I'm so funny.
You are.
I just don't know if I'm good at stand-up. Does that make sense? I know I sometimes
You're a good
am.
performer.
I think I'm a great writer. I think I'm a great performer. And I think that sometimes I'm so funny on stage. I just don't know how to package it, and I don't know how to do it consistently. And I have starting to accept that that might just be what it is. It's helped me in other aspects of my art, writing, directing, being able to execute something the way I visualize it, whether it's good or bad, it's the way I saw it. But stand-up is just so hard. And the moment I'm not present, it's very hard to get back. It's very hard to get back. And also, a lot of times I'm doing something where I'm not trying to fool the audience. I want everybody to know what I'm doing, but I can't tell them what I'm doing because then I'm out. So sometimes it's like if something, I don't know. I also feel like right now I'm feeling this is very boring.
No, I'm interested to hear your perspective.
Stand-up's hard, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's so hard.
Oh, yeah, we talked. Now that sounds familiar. We talked about that when we both opened for Bobby recently.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, it is hard. It's like I'm with you on the repetition of stuff. I get very sick of my material, and for me to like bust out like a new 15 takes a long time. Like my jokes are very short, and I've gotten like a lot more clarity. Like for me, I like writing a lot better in terms of like writing scripts and stuff. And that's like my number one thing of what I want to do. Create shows, write on shows, and stand up, it falls second to that. And that's just like my heart and my main focus is so much in that other thing that like I'm happy to perform and do shows, but I don't have that like same passion to like constantly be creating every single day on that. So then it gets sometimes like if I have a show, I'm like, ugh. And then of course when I do it, it's fun.
Right.
But
feels like work.
Sometimes I just don't feel like I'm like, I guess I have to go do this fucking thing.
Well, I think it's supposed to be that way, right?
Oh, I guess.
I think
okay, good, because I was scared.
I think it's supposed to be that way. I mean, what we do is so cool that
this is better.
It doesn't feel like work, but it is. I'm paraphrasing this wrong, but on one of Alec Baldwin's interviews with Seinfeld, he talked about how Jerry was walking down the street and he saw construction workers, and this is their 9 to 5, and he's like, that's what I mean, this is a 9 to 5. I can't just go do a show. I have to. Everyone has their own process. Do you sit down and write paper and pencil, or do you find other ways of inspiration and perfecting it? But Yeah, it is a job. And a lot of times I don't want to do it. And I think that makes sense to me. I don't feel funny. I'm not interested. I'm bored. I want to do something else. Yeah.
Do you feel like with your stand-up, you're trying to do something like weird and out of the box, or is
that's a
that
good question. Something I came into consciousness of
not
over the
trying to
past
be a
couple
dick?
of years.
Like,
I
are
understand.
you trying, or is that
I didn't. Subconsciously, I was.
yeah?
And probably still do sometimes. Yeah. I growing up. So this is something over the past couple of years I started to become aware of. Growing up, I was never bullied, but I didn't have friends. I would have friends, but not really. I wasn't included. People were nice to me if I came around, but basically, like, I never knew where I stood with people and didn't even realize I didn't. People were nice to me sometimes, other times they weren't, and I was a weird kid, obviously, as I'm sure all of our friends were. I didn't know I was, and I realized that when I was younger, my obsessive compulsive disorder was pretty bad.
In what way?
It kept me from doing things.
Like what? What was your compulsion?
Take me, 25 minutes to get my socks on and get out of the bathroom.
Like the right way.
Yeah, having to take rituals and also needing things to feel a certain way and touching things and counting things and seeing things and being distracted because I'm trying to figure stuff out and it would be consuming. It wasn't just taking my time, but it would exhaust me.
Yeah. Do you still have that, or
it's a lot better maintained. The reason my podcast is called "Take Your Shoes Off" is because that is one that taking your shoes off isn't that weird. If you ask someone to take their shoes off, they've all heard that one before. You're coming, and in my house, it's where it's the most difficult for me. Like I need the most control there. I have so many rules and leaving things, and so it's like an easy, digestible way of explaining. You have to take your shoes off when you come to my house, amongst many other things. When you get anxious, it gets worse. But as a kid, it was tough. So there were a lot of things that were tough for me, and I didn't realize how much jokes I did to distract and or explain what those things were that I needed. Being weird is such a generic term for it, but like the choices I would make were to control other elements of my life that I didn't realize I was doing. When you said where I'm from, for example, would be one of them. Like, I don't Cleveland. I don't understand. Like, now what? Do I have to ask you where you're from? And I would.
No, I was going to take us on a journey.
I'm 35. I get that now, but it's still there's still like.
It's just one of those generic starting places.
Those things were always very difficult for me.
Okay.
Because
why is that?
It feels disingenuous, and this is no critique on you. This is just my truth. It just feels like it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, so this is chairs. Whoa, it's rock. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? But I can't say I don't care because then I'm being mean. So I have to find a way of being like, chairs are tough.
Right.
It's like, all right, weirdo. But now I got away from that thing. I didn't know I was doing that. I do bits nonstop, and I'm not just exhausting other people.
I know. Is that exhausting for yourself?
Exhausting, and I didn't know this until like 3 years ago.
My husband's getting mad at me for doing bits all the time at home. I don't even mean to be. I mean, we're friends hanging out, but like I'll find little things, and I notice I do it in moments where I'm feeling uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that you were doing?
Yeah.
Do you take any medication?
No.
Oh, I'm on Buspar for anti-anxiety.
Would you like to do a little advertisement for him? See if you get sponsored?
Buspar, the thing that saved my life when it comes to social anxiety. Have a party? No problem. Take a Buspar.
It's a bar?
It's just called Buspar. It's really called Busbarone. It's, really helps with social anxiety a lot.
Is it a pill or is it a bar?
It's a pill.
Huh.
It's incredible. Because I'm sober. I can't drink.
No.
I can't smoke weed. I can't,
I love bits. I want to do bits all the time.
Yeah.
But
so they exhaust you.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Do you feel like that pain when you're like, this is like draining, and then you're like,
I don't do it.
I
once I become conscious of it, and it's something I've been working on a lot, and I think I'm good at it now. I stop.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
We both love David Wayne.
Yeah.
You got the opportunity to work on a
futile and stupid gesture.
I always reverse it. A futile and stupid gesture, which he directed and wrote.
No, he directed. He didn't
directed.
write. John Abode and Michael Cohen wrote it.
And you love him.
Oh yeah, he's one of my, pun intended, role models.
Yeah. Yeah. So working with him and all of a great cast of people, did you catch yourself doing a lot of bits to like show them that you're
I don't
funny
know.
and you're worth?
I don't know.
And then did you like get in your head around that?
No. I don't know. I'm sure I did too many bits sometimes, but
or just with specific people then that you feel like you have to like impress. Like, does a certain situation bring out like the bit thing?
For better and worse, I'm always this
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm always this thing. I'm sure there's some subconscious parts of me that like I want to impress a particular type of person, so something happens a little bit different. But if I'm feeling silly, I'm being silly, you know. But as I was saying, over the past few years, I've become more conscious of it. While I was working on that movie, I had already become aware of what I was doing, and I love acting so much. And it was with the best. That cast was unbelievable, and that cast was playing a cast of people that were more unbelievable. This project was so cool, and I wanted to be there. I felt I belonged to be there, and I didn't feel the need to do that.
Did you feel right away that you belonged to be there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was the process like of auditioning for it?
So it's a movie about the origins of National Lampoon and the beginnings of like Caddyshack and Saturday Night Live, based on Doug Kinney, played by Will Forte, who kind of made this happen. And I was playing Harold Ramis, and I look like Harold Ramis. My agent sent me the script for this. It was casted by Allison Jones, who has done more for me probably than any. I mean, she's got me more work than I feel like my agents have. She just is so kind to me, and she brings me. Half the things I've done have been Allison Jones.
And she's
so
like
shout out to Allison Jones. Thank you so much.
The number one comedy.
She's did Fresh Prince, 40-Year-Old Virgin, The Office, Veep. And she does everything. Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's amazing. And so I sent her a picture of me next to Harold Ramis. And not to say that my agents didn't me through this too. I just speak to her directly as well. And she brought me in. Some casting directors, you know, there could be a sense of like, you know, you want to do well for a casting director. But with Allison Jones, maybe this is my relationship with her, but I felt like this with her from the beginning. I don't feel like I'm auditioning for her. I feel like we are auditioning for whoever we're sending it to. I've done stuff where it was after the first take, she said, great, let's move on. And then for this one, she brought me back at least one time. I may have gone in 3 times. After the first one, she wanted me to change my voice because I was doing my own voice. And I met with a few vocal coaches that came back. Like, she coached me and helped me figure this out. And I also know that she didn't audition anyone else for that role. I asked her not to. I'm sure if she wanted to, she would have anyway. But, like, I know this because we communicated this, and she submitted me for this. She really championed me for it. So cool. We already said David Wayne's, you know, how amazing he is, but I have posters of his movies on my wall. You know what I mean? Like, I love him. And I'm sitting at home, and they set up that David, because David was on the road, I couldn't go in with him, so we set up a FaceTime, and we FaceTimed auditioned with him, and it was just on the phone with him for 10 minutes, both of us kind of changing our voice and figuring it out, and posters of him on the other end of it, you know what I mean? And then
while you were FaceTiming?
Yeah.
Did you put that in the shot on purpose?
At the end. No, they were there on the fourth wall. You know, they were just already there, so I'm FaceTiming with them. He wouldn't see them. But toward the end I did say, yeah, I want to show you these, and then afterwards I had him sign these things.
Oh, nice.
But it was a cool process. But I noticed a lot of things. We talked about it on the episode with David, but David has a very similar thing where people don't know when he's joking, when he's not.
Yeah.
And that works in a movie well because we know it's not real. But we talked about if in his personal life, does this ever get in the way? And I don't want to speak on too much of it because it's his stuff. And not that there's stuff, but like, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm attracted to his work because it's like he does what my version of surviving has created my comedy to be. And he does it in a digestible, appreciated way as opposed to, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's very inspiring. He's brilliant. And I want to be doing what he does. Yeah. Did I ramble?
No, I'm
Maybe
listening.
I did a little bit, but I'm
listening.
I do want to kind of circle back around and close that idea of exhausting myself and being in touch with why we behave the way we do makes it a lot easier to either continue doing it that way or adapt it in some degree. And being aware of why I'm doing bits makes it easier for me to then either continue doing them as a choice or to be able to set a boundary or communicate a lack of understanding of someone else's. A lot of times I don't know when somebody likes something or doesn't like something, and they're not going to communicate. I don't know if they know. It's just they get exhausted once they do, and then it's resentment, and nobody knew it was coming. So I do check in now. I've noticed probably more than I need to. I'm trying to tone that down. Even now, the rant. If I'm talking too much,
You're not. I'm listening.
no, I'm saying that
No,
I use as a tool because a lot of people won't say shut up, or a lot of people won't say you're annoying me.
Well, in this environment, it's appropriate.
I still won't know. So like every now and then, when I'm not dating anymore, but on dates, I would often have to say, like, especially if we're getting high, if I get, if it's like, you got to tell me if it's too much. Otherwise, it's.
Where did this awareness come from? Like, did a friend pull you to the side and be like, hey, I don't know why you keep like doing bits all the time, but like, or do people also feel like they don't know who the real you is?
I don't know.
Is it like a way to keep people at a distance?
No.
Okay.
No. It's a way to connect. I can't tell you where I'm from and connect with you. So I have to find another way of satisfying your question and my need to be genuine.
Where I was going to go with that was, essentially just like, picturing you in Ohio as a child and how you became to be this like interesting,
Ohio has nothing to do
weird
with it.
person. I know, but like I like to put myself there and then kind of work from there.
I hear you
picturing.
and I believe you.
Thank you.
But
do you see me?
I think so.
Are you in therapy for all this stuff?
Always.
Yeah.
Come on. It's 2020, baby. Yeah. Yeah, but also at the end of the day, or as people like to say, at the end of the day, people like to say it that way, I've noticed. At the end of the day, bits are king. Love a bit. Love to laugh. It's just a balance.
Who's your favorite friend to do bits with?
In no particular order. Brent Morin, John DeWalt. I guess I have to say those two. I love doing bits with Adam Ray. He's a bit machine. He'll cannibalize it. Shout out to Adam. If you're watching this, know it's true. But I like that. He's like competitive with bits.
Ooh.
Not to take away from somebody else, but he knows his bits. So it's like I don't feel bad. Like sometimes, like you need. It depends who you're talking to. You need to give other people space.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to do whatever I do without taking away from somebody else. And some people you have to be more conscious of. Some people you have to sit back. Adam, you don't have to do that. He also doesn't do that back. This is my experience with him. So when I have something, I kind of have to take it. I have to like speak up or say, hold on a second. But I don't ever have to worry about giving him space because he'll just talk for an hour. I'm into that. I also, Eric Griffin.
I was just texting him.
He's kind of the same in a different way. Adam will just keep talking, where Eric will shut you down. You know what I mean? Eric is shitty.
Yeah, he shuts you
down. I mean, I love him, and his shitty, that's part of his brand. All of these things are truth and good. It's what makes him so funny. But Eric, I was on his podcast, killing. I was being so funny. Even the comments on with his fans on his stuff were talking about how he was hating on me so much. It's being so funny, and he shuts it down. And it's not because he doesn't want me to succeed. I know that's not the case. His brand is just, his comedy is being skeptical and being so sure of his point of view that he's not listening to whether or not I'm being funny because he already knows I'm not. Deep down, I know he loves me and thinks I am funny, but in the play, in the bit. So with him, that doesn't hurt me at all because it's competitive. I love that. I love fighting back. I've also been I love his podcast. Do you ever watch his podcast?
I have not.
Shout out to Riffin with Griffin. I love his podcast, and I watch and with other comedians who aren't. I'm making up this term competitive just because, like with Eric and with Adam, it's not a give and take. It's we both take and we both appreciate what the other person is doing. It's a give and take. I don't think that's fair. It's a give and take, but I'm saying
I know what you're saying.
We're doing it at the same time, But when there's people on the podcast, Eric, that aren't that same thing, he kind of goes back a little bit and lets them talk more. Which I don't know if that's him being kind or just he gets fueled by people like me or people who are that way. But it's interesting to watch because he's so funny. Both Eric and Adam, I love watching their stand-up. They just, some people, it just works for you.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't work for other people, but it works. I'm in watching them. But watching them with people who are, I don't know, it's just funny to watch them. It's like, that's not who you are. I watch Eric with people where he's being nice. And I'm thinking, that's not you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He is he's one of my favorites. Just even watch, I laughed his entire hour. I was with him in La Jolla, and he just like, it's rare to laugh at someone's entire, it's just like, he's flawless.
He looks the way he looks. He just looks goofy as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he talks, he writes, it feels like some of his bits he writes because I'm a goofy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he hides his goofiness in like anger. And it just works. He could talk about anything and it's not offensive. I don't know if he's Republican or liberal. He makes fun of both of them in a way where he gets away with everything. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's a guy or a girl. So when he talks shitty about women, maybe he's allowed. Yeah, he's fucking so funny.
Yeah. Who are other people that you really like to watch?
I've always loved watching Brent.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved watching Brent, especially when he gets silly. When he's in...
I like when he screams in the high-pitched voice.
He has one of the best comedy screams.
Yeah.
Give me
the gun!
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's... I'm naming my friends. And I don't... So funny.
I can't... He's my favorite person to watch here.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
We're talking about peers, so yeah. One of my favorites to watch is Sebastian, but I can't count him in the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fahim's fantastic. I feel like I feel like I have the funniest friends in the world. I guess I like goofy guys.
Yeah.
I like goofy.
So, were you always a really goofy person, or like, do you ever get insecure and like have to fight through that to like kind of just really be yourself? Like, have you gone through that sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I hope I'm explaining that properly, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I do get insecure. I do think this thing that I am isn't hiding who I am. It's just the language I've learned to communicate who I am. A lot of times people say they don't know if I'm joking or serious, and I've said this before, but I don't find jokes and sincerity to be mutually exclusive. I am joking so I could communicate to you. An easy example would be, when people are passive-aggressive or make light of something in a way to get something out there. My version of that is just bits. I don't, and I could be wrong, I don't think that I get insecure. I want people to like me. But I don't change my behavior to make that happen because I've learned at a young age it's not possible to even know if it worked, let alone be able to do it. So yes, I get insecure, but that doesn't affect my behavior. Does that make sense? I could give you an example of when I realized I wanted to start doing that with fear. I sometimes get so scared to go on stage still. And I remember once I was so scared to go on stage and I canceled my show. And I felt so bad after. I've canceled shows before, but the reason I canceled it was because I was scared. And
was it a big show?
It was a show.
Okay.
And I want to do as many shows as I possibly can. And you work so hard to get stage time, and then you don't do it. It's like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And shows get more shows, and also to get you better, and blah, blah, blah. But I remember realizing that I'm going to be scared, and since I can't control that, I can't control not. I mean, this is a very corny Will Smith type of thing, but I can't control when I'm scared, but I could control how that makes me behave. And that whenever I get scared to do a show, that's fine and accept that, but I can't cancel a show. So then I started to go up on stage and kind of accept that if I'm scared, not to pretend that I'm not scared, because then I'm not present anymore. It's just, this is going to be a scared set. Mm-hmm. So instead of pretending that my hand isn't shaking or that I'm not nervous, to be nervous. And that makes me feel accepting how I feel. If I feel insecure and I've accepted it, I no longer feel scared by it. It's almost empowering. You could be self-deprecation is almost a confidence in insecurity, you know? So when I get insecure about stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm insecure about it because I am this. Yeah, I don't want to look fucking ugly today. You know, it sucks. But like, what am I going to not leave the house?
Right.
I'm a monster today, you know?
Really? Do you get insecure about your
Yeah.
looks?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes I look all right, and I think sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'll look at myself in the mirror and be like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? But like, what am I not gonna leave?
Wow, yeah. And if I could just touch back on the fear, would you say that started occurring when you well, you've always probably done pretty interesting things on stage, but with trying like a lot of the new stuff that I see you do, that's more newer, like you bringing stuff on, like, is that stuff that felt really scary for you, like to put yourself
I
out
understand
there
the
with
question.
like
I am feeling a little insecure right now because I'm talking to you about process more, and specifically my process. And anyone who's watching this doesn't know who I am, so it means they can't connect to what I'm talking about for my act, and also I don't have any credibility in why I'm explaining this. But I'm here, I'm answering these questions, so I guess I just wanted to get that out there. So part of the thing that I realized the past few years was how much of my comedy, especially first 5 years and still thereafter, I would do these things because I knew that if I fail, it's on my terms. And if they're not going to like me, it's because I'm in control of that. So I wasn't that scared starting out because I knew it was a win-win. Because if I lose, didn't matter because I'm basically perfecting failure. My act was and still kind of is inspired by successfully bombing, you know? Not in a way where it doesn't matter, I was going to validate that. But then I started to like want to get good. And I kind of had this false sense of confidence because I have already bombed worse than any of us. You know what I mean? Like out of all my peers, I bombed more than any of them. And I literally got good at it. So it kind of gave me this armor that I didn't need to have that shield. I guess in this metaphor, armor is my skin, and I wasn't letting that hit me, so I would have this shield up of certain bits that I would use. And I was able to throw that down and be a little bit more genuine because if it didn't work, I'd already gone through the gauntlet of I'll be fine, you know? So the fear what isn't so much about if I'm going to be funny or not. I think the fear is the acceptance of I mean this so seriously. I have realized, I mean this so sincerely, that I'm not perfect. I don't know if I thought that I was before. I never thought about it. But realizing those things that I'm not, like being aware that I'm not good at things sucks, you know? You do things that you're good at. You do things that you get better at. So scared of like, I always thought I'm going to be amazing at this. And then after 10 years and I realized I'm not, it's scary. So I get scared of like being reminded that I'm going to be great. I'm going to be great. After 10 years and I'm not great, it's like, I don't know if I still think I'm going to be, but I'm not sure of it the way I was. So that transition was scary because I wanted to be sure of it.
and then it's like, now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And then that kind of,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's still scary. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop me
No,
from
I
doing
meant
things.
like, oh, okay, I'm not perfect, so now what?
I don't know.
That's what I meant. You like, it takes away, it almost like,
I think I'm now where everyone else is, realizing
Right.
we're just trying to get better at something.
mhm.
I honestly felt that I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, and I've never said this. How are we on time? I feel like you're looking. Are we okay?
I'm looking down at my pants and seeing if the way I'm putting my stand is making me look fat somehow. That's what I'm doing.
It's not. It doesn't.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I always felt very special. Like I always felt what I do is very special, and nobody could do what I do. And I didn't realize that nobody does what I do because it's not efficient. So it's not that nobody can do it. It's that why would they do it? So I've kind of stepped out of this world where I'm the only person that does this thing, but it's a thing that I love. I love what I've done. I love what I do, and it's very, very, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. So I've now stepped out to play the sport that everybody else plays, and it's tough because now I've when I don't when I like to feel people like to feel special, and I got really good at this niche thing that I want to be able to use inside of something that other people more people would appreciate. So it's scary. It's scary to not be special, and I feel bad for people that never feel special. But it's definitely a defensive place to live in that I'm gonna only do this thing because then I'm not surprised I don't connect with a lot of people because I'm not doing the thing that they connect with. The thing that I might be able to connect with if I just said, I'm from Cleveland, where are you from? But I don't care. No disrespect. I'm interested in you. If we find out where you're from, New York's fantastic, but that...
Then what?
Yeah, okay.
Who gives a fuck?
And whatever then what would be, let's start there.
You might be right, Rick.
Sometimes.
You might
Sometimes.
be right.
I am sometimes.
Did you do American Ninja Warrior?
Oh, yeah. We'll cut to a clip. If you edit it, I'll send it to you. We'll put it in, but no
Really?
obligations. Yeah.
Okay.
They did there was a little thing on Access Hollywood where it's showing it, and they were so
How
disrespectful.
did that happen?
I wanted to do it.
I loved the original one.
It was great. I mean, it is great.
That's so fucking random. So what happened? Did you see?
I was
that
on an
they were
NBC
doing?
show.
Yeah, Undateable.
Yeah, so I.
Cut to that.
You don't even need to cut to it. It was that fast, and
Couple years.
yeah, we did 3 seasons, and at a NBC something. I met the producer of it, and I said I want in, and she let me do it. And I, like a week before, I found some local ninjas. They all create these
local ninjas.
There's like a community of ninjas, and they build these ninja farms and these places in their backyards and places, and it looks like the Sandlot build. It is so dangerous.
Where was it?
I don't remember.
In Los Angeles?
It was in Los Angeles.
Oh.
I went with a group of guys, and
to train.
To play, but they train there. I went for 4 hours. The wall, it was way too high. I did it though, and the salmon ladder and everything, and I was able to do the things, but there was one. I got past the first obstacle, and the second one was a trapeze thing that I never had practiced, and I just wasn't able to do it. I got to try it twice. I was so pissed I couldn't do it because I knew for sure 3 and 4 I was able to do it, and I had done them. And I really wanted to because I'm this comedian, this goofy guy that they were letting do it. And it's like, Jesus, I really wanted to do it. And then in the clip they showed, and they go, and comedian makes a joke out of it. And it's like, I wasn't making a joke out of this. Like, I wanted to do this. You know what I mean? But it was very cool to be able to.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I'm dying to do Supermarket Sweep.
Is that still a thing?
It just came back.
Yeah?
And Leslie Jones is hosting it.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
I was a huge fan of that show growing up. I know where everything is in the market.
Well, plant that.
I'm dying to do Supermarket Sweep. Please, producers, look to me as your next contestant on Supermarket Sweep.
Okay, so what you did was ask for something instead of telling people why they should give it to you.
Why you should give it to me is this.
No, hold on. You're gonna send them the clip. You're gonna send them a 20-second clip of this to their Instagram, whatever it is. So I think they would want to know why you connect with it, why you like it so much, and how you could offer value to them would be just to showing who you are. So in 20 seconds, I'd like you to get out a joke, and you could even straight up, you have quick jokes you say. Say your name. Here's one of my quick jokes. Here's what it is. You say, here's my name. I'm going to tell you a quick joke at the end of this, but first I want to tell you, and then say, I love it, I grew up, blah, 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 blah. Now here's my quick joke. Have me. Or your version of that. Do you guys push in? Could you push in and add a little music? He's not back there. Yeah. Could you push in on this? Will we be doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's saying yeah.
All right, and we'll put a little, could we put a little,
that's in post.
Yeah, obviously. I want a little royalty-free, not necessarily like upbeat, but perky. Think like a juice commercial to go into it, and we'll be starting to push in.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Skidmore from Los Angeles, California. I love Supermarket Sweep. I grew up watching it every day after school. I know where everything is in the grocery store. If I go in with my husband and he says, we're just getting one thing, I know exactly what aisle to find it in. I know exactly where it is. I know how much the Charmin is, what the retail price is. I know where to find that big bottle of ketchup. And have you ever had to fire anyone? I have. It's awkward. I've had to do that in a bunch of restaurants. I didn't even work there. I was just kept waiting too long for takeout.
Okay, so that was my mistake. I instructed her to tell a joke at the end. Very funny. Great
It
stuff.
was a clean food joke.
Yeah, but I feel like we might want to take out right before the joke. But if not, then leave it up to here. That's my apologies. The joke, she's going to be great. We'll be right back with a word from our sponsor from Marshall Rug Gallery.
Marshall Art Gallery?
Marshall Rug Gallery. It's my dad's rug store in
Is
Cleveland,
it
Ohio.
really?
Yeah, I plug in every episode.
Are you, do you have a
Oh,
second?
boy, yeah.
How much time do you have? I want to ask
I'm
you
okay.
one more question.
I'm okay.
I want to ask you two questions.
Sure, but are you going to send that clip to them?
Should I?
Yeah, for 100%.
Okay, cool.
We got to chop that up. Yeah.
I'll clip it.
Yeah.
There's 6 lead
Mhm.
and autism.
Yeah.
Which one?
This is the 6th lead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 6th lead. Tell us about the 6th lead. What it is, how it came about, and where it went.
No. I was on that show where
I love how you just said that. No.
on the Undateable show, which was on NBC, I was the 6th lead on it. And do I hold for laughter here, or do I just because I could talk to them? I'm flattered that you liked it, but like I don't want to like sit in it.
Do I laugh too much at your jokes?
No,
you know
nobody laughs enough.
I'm genuinely reacting. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, when you mean as opposed to being like, ha?
I'm doing the Fallon.
I think he. I understand. I understand. I was the 6th lead on a TV show. Didn't have many lines. Didn't love my character. And was a bit judgmental of it the first couple of seasons in a wrong way. Like I didn't quite understand my role. Like this is a job. This is my role. This isn't. Anyway. So I became aware of like how amazing of what I'm doing is, and wanted to take advantage of that by doing more. And I had a meeting with Bill Lawrence, with my boss at the time. Shout out to Bill Lawrence. And the meeting was funny. He's just a funny person, and he cares about me, and it was connected. And I was inspired to film that. I want to do an episode of something, just 5 minutes of me coming in. And so he let me do it. He thought he was funny, and we got a couple cameras. I asked them to come to the table read, which table read is, you read the script. I'm sure you know, but I feel like you explain.
Please.
The network comes, and we all the actors and the writers are in the room with the network. We read the script so everyone could give each other notes. Almost
like a mockumentary kind of thing.
Yeah, but it was real. Like
yeah.
The camera crew came to the actual table read, and I was playing.
And
Rick.
You were the 6th lead.
Yeah, and
that's so funny.
It was very cool that he let me do it, and I'm playing Rick Glassman myself, but it's not me. It's this character that's inspired by it. But so during this table read, I'm Rick Glassman playing my character Bursky. It's not as deep as that, but that is because the camera's around me, so I'm doing things in the table read that I wouldn't have done. The network didn't know what was, really going on, so I'm like making some choices that I wouldn't have necessarily done. And then I wrote this thing that Bill did, and we filmed it. It was very funny. Bill liked it. He wanted to do more. I ended up doing 5 episodes. They gave me the lot. They gave me I wrote these things. It was under Undateable, so I had a costume department. I had a props department. We shut down a couple of streets on the Warner Brothers lot. We went through central casting. We had background players. We dressed it. I mean, it was awesome. And the craft services and PAs
oh my God.
and security. Like I had directed sketches and stuff with my buddy John DeWalt for a while, but this was a legit production. It was so cool.
You created a show within a show.
Yeah. And it's good. It's something I'm so proud that I made.
That's so cool and amazing and such a creative idea. Where did you what made you want to create that?
I've just always I told you in the pod I always want to make stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I love stand up so much, because I get to make it. I get to make something. And this I got to make, and I had using the lot that they gave me a gate that was shut down. They opened it up. They brought in the gate, the arm. They set it with computers. Sam Richardson, you know who Sam is? He's unbelievable comedian. A lot of people know him from Veep. He had the show called Detroiters. He's legitimately one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Who's he on Veep?
He's the black guy on Veep.
Oh, yeah. I love him.
He's nutso talented.
Yeah, he's very, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. You told me he would play the security
He plays
guard.
security guard.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I laughed so much during that. Out of all the episodes, I broke once or twice during the other things. Half of the thing with him, he's just. It's crazy how funny he is. I get to use like the writers' room and the writers, and we got to use the actual soundstage. I wrote a scene for the 5th and final episode. It was I got to write the scene, and it was a scene from Undateable, air quotes, but it wasn't a real scene. It was a fake scene, but we got to use the actual cameras and the set and the costumes and all the everyone, Dalia, Brent, Ron Funches, and Bianca and Bridget and David Finn. They all acted the scene that I wrote, and we got to film it. And there's a live studio audience. I wrote and directed this fake scene between these shows. It was and it looks awesome.
That's amazing.
So cool. And it's been really nice because it was received well. I sent it to some festivals, and it won some awards, and it's become like this business card in a very, 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 very small way. But when I want to direct things or do things, if someone wants to see what I've done, I don't show them Undateable. I show them the 6th lead, and written and directed by me. I'm proud of it. I'm good in it, and it's like it's helped. And making stuff, making stuff is because then you get to show people what you made, and then you get to make more stuff, and then they give you money for it. You know what I mean? It's the way it goes. But it's a small little thing, but it's the biggest thing I had done, and I always wanted to direct, but during and since then, that's what I want to do so much. So fun. And like having friends on set and literally doing whatever you want with them, and having to be able to have someone behind the camera and running audio, to me, is the biggest luxury. Like I don't have to block I don't have to check everything. I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you working on something else right now?
So, the Futile Stupid Gesture, one of the executive producer, John Stern, I met him through that, and then Bill Lawrence, my boss. So I wrote this thing. I filmed another thing similar to the 6th lead because it really helped me in the writing. Like during the editing, I saw how much I would want to do different. So my process at the moment is filming something as a short and then not doing anything with it. I posted something on my podcast. It was cool. I filmed this thing with Lamorne Morris, Joel McHale, and it was based on a true story of something that happened, and it looks great. I don't know if I'm going to share it or not yet, but we were going out to pitch this show, and in the meantime, I booked a pilot for Amazon that I am exclusive with, so I'm sitting on that at the moment.
Wow.
So I'm excited. I get to see it in a couple weeks. If it gets picked up, I'll be so happy, and I'll do that.
And back in May.
Yeah, absolutely, with Betty and unfortunately for you, Benji and his sister. But yeah, so I was working on that for a while, and it's on hold at the moment.
That's awesome. Well, Rick, I'm so excited that you came on today.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Thank you so much for coming, and I'm excited to see whatever else you create going forward. Could you edit one? You could keep this. Could you edit one thing at the end that otherwise we could just end it? But I'll tell you what it is first. I want you to put in at the very end for me to lift up a little bit and do like a big fart. Are you serious?
Yeah. So is that something you'd be willing to put in? If not, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Could we do that?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, so what are you doing?
So I'm just gonna.
You're just.
I'm just gonna go like.
Right here and fart?
I'm just gonna go like this.
And actually fart?
No. You got to put the sound in.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not gonna go like this if you're not gonna put the sound in.
Okay.
So can you put the sound in?
I can ask the guy who edits it.
You will? Will you ask for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So close it out again.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rick, for coming on the podcast. Please tell us where we can watch The 6th Lead and where we can listen to your podcast.
The 6th lead is I think it's go to rickglassman.com, youtube.com/Rick Glassman. I have it all on there with my podcast. Take Your Shoes Off at Rick Glassman on Instagram. Blah 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 blah. But that's it. Yeah, this has been really great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Is it off now?
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you think it's